All right, Barry,
Good
are
evening.
you there? Good evening. Well, this is unscheduled. This is a wonderful moment. I'm loving it at the moment. You guys did a really good show a minute ago. It was nice to see you guys talk about some real things that are very intriguing, but at the same time very conspiracy. You know what I mean? So, and Sheila was amazing with what she was saying.
Okay, and
Well, bring it up.
well, hey, conspiracy mean conspiracy, Adam. Elaborate on
Well,
that
I mean,
thought.
a lot of people would actually look at things and go, "Well, that is, what they're talking about. Banking systems and stuff is very conspiracy." So
Uh,
Sheila's back on, and maybe she might want to join us as well.
okay. I don't think there's anything we're talking about that's actually a conspiracy. Conspiracy is something that isn't proven, is an idea of a group of people that think something's going on. But everything we talked about is backed up by factual information, Adam. Everything that we talked about with the banking system is backed up by factual information. So I don't really agree with the term conspiracy. But
That are bad.
Hello, hey Roger, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Did
I have no sound, guys. Can you gentlemen hear me and gentle ladies?
can you hear
Because
me?
I can hear you now, Roger.
Okay, I can't hear Adam, and I can't hear Paula.
No. Paula,
Oh,
are you
I'm
there?
muted because I was just kind of airing for you guys. Adam?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
I just
okay.
no. Sheila just called in and said she'd love to join the show if you guys wish.
Okay, I'll call her right now.
Cool. Boy, we sure got a lot of snow in northern British Columbia today there, Adam. I'll tell you. And we're getting another foot tonight, guys. So there you go. Don't come to northern BC unless you like to shovel.
I'm
No
guessing
doubt. Well,
Tennessee.
actually, we got off pretty cool up here in Fort St. John, so we only got like about 2 centimeters rather than 2 feet. So we're doing well.
Yeah, here Tennessee and North Carolina are getting it tonight. Heart
She,
overworking theirself or what? We have really had some strange winters. I bet Roger's getting it where he is. Always seems to be cold in Oklahoma to me.
I
Not
don't
she's
see.
in
Oklahoma.
Montana, actually.
Montana. Well, that's why it's cold in Oklahoma then, and not Montana. You know who I was thinking of? KB, just in Oklahoma.
We actually had a lot of sunshine today.
We did too.
Sounds like a
This
clear, cold day on the prairies.
well, it's we've had a whole lot less snow than what is usually accumulates by this time of the year here, and we've had some cold days though because we've seen several days where the wind chill brought us down to minus 65.
Ooh. Well, I think I'd stay inside that day.
We did. Actually, they shut the schools down too.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine it. Living in Florida all my life, and I can't take the cold down here. I think I just die. Talk
I have
about the survival of the fittest. Paula wouldn't be here.
Paula. I have lived in Key West. I have lived in San Diego. I have lived in Hawaii. I have lived in southern Texas, and but I was born and raised in the north. So I've seen the best of both of them and the worst of both of them. You can keep the heat of Florida in the summer, and you can keep the cold of northern Montana in the winter. There's got to be some place where there's a happy median.
I can't even. Oh, there's Pattie.
Patty,
Hello, Pattie. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How you
And
guys
you,
doing?
you sound awesome.
I got my technical issues worked out. Don't ask me how, I just did it.
where do? Oh my God, I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, I know. This is great, Patty. Holy smokes, Batman. And Sheila's joined us too. What a group.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Sheila again.
Hello, Sheila. We've got somebody here I don't know if you've ever met, and and Sheila dropped
Oh,
off.
she dropped off. Well,
Oh, well.
Patty, how are you doing, my dear? I haven't heard your voice for a while.
I know. How are you doing, Adam? I haven't seen you around for a while. You used to come on the site.
Yeah, I know. I'm so busy with TLB now and building new websites and stuff. And Roger keeps handing me this big list
Hello?
every week. And,
Hello, Sheila.
Hey, Sheila. And
She's
it's
back, yes.
so I don't have time to actually get around or do anything. And both Sheila and Roger are sitting there going, "Why don't you listen to my radio shows?" And I go, "Well, quit giving me lists of things to do."
I'm gonna tell you when those lists. I'm gonna tell you when those lists are gonna stop, Adam. When you get as much snow in
Say that again, Roger.
about the same time you get as much snow in hell as you got in northern British Columbia today.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. Well, then I'm screwed.
No, you're not. You're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah. So I understand, Patty, you're going to jump on the TLB network in some way, shape, or form. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bring some of the people that I have been in touch with, that we have been seeking ways to create a knowledge base, so that we can bring the people together, so they can understand that it's between us, the people, not between the establishments or the entities that are so wonderful about telling us who we are and where we come from. Uh, I want to bring the people who know who we are and where we come from together, so that we can do what we need to do. We need to take our own sovereignty, our personal sovereignty, our spiritual nature, our minds, and our bodies back. And this is the way we do it. We have to come together.
Put.
That's perfect. I really appreciate the work you do, Patty. And you know, the second we are able to bring this to a larger audience in one forum, and that's what the TLB network is trying to do, is bring it into one forum. And the more networks that are able to work and build liberty for the people around the world is going to be an expansion of minds. It's going to revolutionize what is happening out there.
Well, yeah, this is exactly what it's right on time. It's what we've all been working toward, and we have the Liberty Beacon now, who has given us the venue and the impetus for us to now put everything that we've been working for separately onto the same plate. And that's the magic about it, is for so long we've been so separated and diverse, but each passionate about what we care about. We know that we're in a world that is fast becoming adverse to life. As we know it, as we are deserving of. They've taught us for so long that we are less than, that we are the problem, and all along we've always been the solution. We found the solutions, we found the people, we found the mindset and the common ground. Now we've found the venue that we're going to use to bring this globally. And I want to thank Liberty Beacon for stepping up and doing the work that must needs be done, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Sheila, are you there?
You give me
Yeah, you bet.
chills up my spine, I tell you. Thank you,
All right.
Patty.
Adam, let me jump in for just a second. Sheila, I want to introduce you to Pattie Walkinturtle. She is of TCT Radio. Pattie, this is Sheila Zilinsky from the Weekend Vigilante Show. You are both a part of the Liberty Beacon Project, and you're two of the strongest women I know. Paula, I don't know if you're still on the call, Paula, are you?
No, she went to grab a cup of coffee.
Okay, that's the reason I said two. I thought that. Had Paula been standing or on the call, I would have definitely said three. You're all movers and shakers, and in your own way, you're all making a huge dent. And I really do appreciate you, Sheila. And Pattie, every day more that I know you, I realize that the very first conversation we had was something that was paramount to this network going forward.
I feel the same way, Roger. We've been, all of us here on this panel, as well as on TCT and other radio networks, have been about this for a very, very long time. We've all put a lot of our minds, our hearts, and our souls into finding out the problems that we are facing and then trying to find the solution. We've always known that it's not a singular problem, that it is a global issue, and the only way that we can combat the attacks that are being perpetrated against us is to come together in unison. We don't have to agree on what the worst of our issues are. There are enough to go around, and we don't need to nitpick about what is and what isn't. What we have to do is realize that we have to make a stand. We have to stand together in unison and put up a workable solution that will get us to the next point, to where we make the change that we need to see. Not the change that they want, but the change that we ourselves are determined to give to our children and our grandchildren. It's up to us. Nobody else is going to step up in this time. It is for us to do. Yeah.
Well, let me explain one thing, and then I want Sheila's point of view on this. I really do. You made a point, Pattie, which is absolutely excellent. Let me expound on that a little bit. When you are in a war, when you're being attacked, it's not just with pistols. It's not just with rifles. It's not just with bombs. It is with a plethora of mechanisms that you are attacked on all fronts. Let's take a look at that today. We have GMOs. We have vaccines. We have political tyranny. We have a perpetual warfare. We have, in every single direction, chemtrails. We are being hit by a plethora of weapons on a continuous basis. So for any of us to step up and say, because I belong to a GMO group, or I belong to a vaccine group, or I belong to a political tyranny group, I have more to say than you do, that's the point of divisiveness. We all know one thing. The one thing we all have in common is that the system is broken. It's we the people who will suffer each and every time, not the elite who are perpetrating this. Sheila, step in, please.
Well, I like what you just said about this plethora, because I just said on a show, and I like this term, I think I coined this phrase, ubiquitous crescendo of globally orchestrated attacks. Not just chemtrails, not just geoengineering.
You got to stop, Sheila. We got to get a chuckle in there. That's so good. That was so
That's
good.
awesome.
But I mean, Roger, the point is, and I think Pattie said it best, and I'm convinced you must be from Louisiana, girl.
No.
Kansas.
Oh, she's not.
Well, actually, yes, by birth I am.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
All the boys are in the back office going, I just said,
Sheila nailed it.
I just did the F-bomb. I'm sorry.
I knew you were born in Louisiana. I don't know why, but your voice, yeah, I recognize. My aunt is from there, and you guys sound identical, so.
Paula's back. Hello, Paula.
Oh, Jordan's back. It wasn't me.
Okay, and now we have three very powerful women who are leading the charge with everything they can put forward in this conversation.
Well, you're right. Anyway, Roger, you're right. We're getting pummeled 6 ways to Sunday, and I think strategically and in unison, we do need to start, obviously this is a good venue because it's sort of when I think of beacon, I think it's sort of the quintessential, it reminds me of a lighthouse beacon guiding the way. And I think the Liberty Beacon is a very, it really is the iconic sort of symbol of what we're trying to do. We're trying to become this massive venue that is sort of the pivotal underpinning of every other thing. It's like that the mothership to where, it's the one-stop shop of where to go for all your liberty needs.
I love it.
Exactly.
And when the Liberty Beacon is defined as liberty is the ability to have charge of your own life, okay? And beacon is a mechanism used to show people the way to something.
Yeah.
So when you take the two and put them together, what you have is let us be a catalyst to bring everybody to liberty. Let's get rid of the divisiveness. And Adam, I got to tell you something. You're one of the big cogs in the wheel here, my friend, because if you didn't give us all the means to communicate and build this network, it wouldn't exist. So you might not be popping up on all these radio shows, and you might not be listening to a lot of radio shows, but you give us the venue to accomplish it. And I think we all owe you a big thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Well,
Put a lot of time in.
You know what, guys? I don't do enough. If I could quit my day job, that would be wonderful, and do this full time.
It's going to happen.
It'll come.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm opening up my own shop, so I'm going to have maybe an extra hour a day or something like that.
Send me a...
Yeah, no, you're not going to get it sent to pizza, so don't worry about it.
Well, you're opening a pizza shop. You can at least send us all a pizza. It's
sure. I don't. You got to get it fresh. That's the best way to get a real pizza.
Okay. Okay.
Do you deliver?
To Kamloops?
Kamloops? Yeah, I'll deliver.
Jet, yes.
Private jet, of course, if I have to. just land that private jet there, and I'll fly off the pizza. Not a problem.
Just drop it from 30,000 feet with a parachute.
Yeah, we could do that. Pizza's all around, everybody.
Anyone listening that has a private jet, please go get us a pizza from Adam. Thank you.
All right, so what we have on this call right now is we have several from Canada and several from the United States. And if anybody is listening, the one thing you're hearing is that we all have a common point of reference. And that common point of reference is that this system is broken. We all realize it. We might realize it in different aspects. We might, again, some might think it's because of the GMO, some might think it's because of the political tyranny. But what we need to do, and what the Liberty Beacon hopes to do, is focus on the lowest common denominator. What is the lowest common denominator in all of the issues we all know humanity is suffering from? The system is broken and it's not working for us, and it should be.
It's called the banking system. It's called banks. That's the lowest common denominator.
I think there's actually a level above that.
Well,
I agree.
Okay. Well, you guys teach me a couple of things and tell me why I think it's banking system, because central banks, the World Bank.
That's part of it, Adam. But the real kingpins of this, at the top of the top, the creme de la creme, are these Illuminati kingpins, and those are not the banksters.
They own the banksters.
They own the banksters. Amen.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly.
Well, throw it at me there, guys. I want to hear the truth, and I want to know what you think.
Well, the Rothschilds don't necessarily, although they do own some banks, the Rothschilds control more banks than they actually own. And how do they do that? They do that by the manipulation of currency. And Rothschild put it perfectly in the late 1790s when he said, I care not who, if you let me control a nation's currency, I care not who makes its laws. Okay.
I'll take it one step further too, Roger, and everyone on this call. The Rothschild family traces its roots back to antiquity. So we're talking about a family that goes back. They actually talk about tracing the roots back to Nimrodian time. So essentially, these Illuminati families, these royal bloodlines, they go back, and they're a very satanic bunch of hucksters, and that's a fact.
Absolutely. I agree. But
would you? Sheila, they trace themselves back to the Nimrodian times, which explains why they're all a pack of Nimrods.
Well, Fritz Springmeier and
Yeah.
I've got a lot of Fritz's books. He's been on my show lots. I'm going to send everybody copies of Fritz's books on the 13 Bloodlines of the Illuminati because it'll blow your hair back. The stuff this guy knows is off the charts. So,
Pattie, I want to hear if you could. I'd like you to interject a little bit about what the first people of North America have to think about all of the tyranny being perpetrated and exactly how they, because
You need to take
I
a
would
bath
say
and go to bed.
if tyranny and subjugation are that your people would be experts at this and talking about this even more than anybody else, being as you've been going through this on this continent for hundreds of years longer than anybody else has.
Well, it is true that we have been visited upon by the worst of the tyrannies and the atrocities that mankind has ever visited upon any nation. But I would like to clarify that although I am American Indian and my ancestors have paid a very, very high price because they had skin a different color and because this was their land that they lived upon, we were not and are not exclusive. Every race that is on this globe is indigenous. Every single race came from a tribe and a nation. And we are the last ones. You get to see us, and you've seen the history that has been written by them. You've heard history from our own mouths, but this is your history too. This happened to you. They took your stories. They took your language. They took your customs way before they got to us. It is something that a lot of people don't think about. When they think of American Indians, they think that we are in some way the only ones who have suffered these injustices.
No.
But it's not so. Each and every one of us, we follow our family trees back as far as written language goes. Written language is a lie. Your people existed beyond that, and they were just like us. There were tribes and nations, and we were all indigenous. The way they did was they brought us something that was new, that was magic, and they told us that this magic was what was going to make us better. It would make us stronger. It would give us the things that we needed. We would no longer have to suffer in the cold. It would bring abundance. They gave it to us in little white lies that they wrapped with pretty bows. And they came to us and said, we want to be your friends, and we bring you these gifts that you would not have had before. We bring you steel, we bring you iron, we bring you the ability to build shelter. All of these things were to an indigenous culture that lived upon the land and with the land. They were magic things. When the Spanish first came to this land, they wore chainmail. Cloaks made of chains, and we thought they were gods because the sun glinted off of them. And they rode on these animals that were just majestic and beautiful. And so we knew that they must have been sent from God. And so we believed them and what they said. And what they told us is you can't remain separate. Your people will perish because we are here now and we bring the law. And so we believed them. It was all a lie. And what they did was they brought their religion in to teach us that we were not human, that we were less than, and that we had to be converted. I can tell you horror stories of how they took our people and they would capture them. And the religious sects, the Jehovah Witness and the Christians and all of the religious sects that were upon this land would gather us into these communities, and they would say, you will stay here until we can save your soul, because we can't kill you until your soul has been saved. That was their job to do. It wasn't that we just willingly stood up and said, yeah, I'm done with this life, I don't want to live here. They told us that this was the only way that it could be done, and they did it by the force of a gun. This is how they do everything. They come into your life. Even now, today, they bring you these gifts and they say, look what we've done for you. Look how we've improved your life. Look what we can do for your children. And we see it and we look at it and we see the goodness of it. But we don't look underneath it because they're the authority. They're the gods that we look up to. They're the ones who have all the knowledge and the technology. And this is how they come to us. They bring us this stuff and they call it money. And they say, this is what can be used to take you from point A to point B. And so we subscribe to the monetary system. And by gosh, it works. I mean, now we can take our crops and sell them, get money, and we can buy things. We can buy clothing, coats. We can buy building materials to build houses. And then all of a sudden, our land isn't ours anymore. Our house isn't ours anymore. We have to have more money. We have to go to work. Our children have to be educated now because if not, they can't make this money. And I agree that the banking system is at the root. It is the tool that has been used to circumvent the whole globe, to teach us that we are only worth this monetary amount and how much we can contribute to this system. Otherwise, we have no more worth. We traded our own self-worth for a monetary piece of paper that has no worth at all. This is the trickster. This is the coyote. This is the one that has always come to each and every one of us. And when they first came to this land, we looked at them and we saw them as our friends, as our brothers, and we took them in. And then when they showed us their true colors, it was too late. We were already a part of their system. They already had us within the chains and the shackles. It is the same today. There's no difference. It's being repeated over and over and over again with us, our children, and our next generation. It won't ever stop.
That is so true, Pattie. And you got to remember, I mean, you were saying given something with something that is underneath. Well, during residential schools of the Indians or Native Americans in Canada alone, they gave them blankets contaminated with smallpox so they could kill them off.
Yes, they did.
And I would also agree that the biggest and most deadly mechanism of tyranny on this planet is, in fact, money. And if you trace back families like the Rothschilds and a few other select families back far enough, you will find out that they banded together and realized that money could, in fact, conquer the globe. And this is the very reason that these elite families decided they would move into the banks, they would buy the banks, they would spread the banks across the planet. There were 3 Federal Reserve banks tried in this country and failed before the Federal Reserve. So if nothing, you've got to give them credit for determination. So it is the mechanism, the true mechanism to conquer the planet. And it's a freaking piece of paper. And you're right. So many people have sold their souls for a piece of paper they could fold up and put in their wallet. And that in itself says more than anything.
Yeah, and the indigenous people are not immune.
No.
We are part of the same problem. That's why we want to come together with all the people across the globe in one voice to say enough is enough. We have the ability. We've always had the ability and the power. We are so separated by diversion, by distraction, by every type of separation. They have, you have to realize that these people have been doing this for such a very, very long time. They know how to get into our minds. They know how to teach us to hold our anger against each other instead of against them. You never see the Rothschilds coming out and making any bad news or any bad moves in the marketplace or anything. They never do any of that. The elite never do that. The Illuminati are never heard from. They don't care about the dollar bill. They don't move on those methods. They don't eat our food. They don't drink our water. They stay completely out of it so that we never see the man behind the curtain, so that we never think that they might be the problem instead of us. Instead, they pit us against each other because you make more money than I do. You go to a different church than I do. You are an Indian and I'm a Protestant. And, all of these different things. You root for the Broncos and you root for the Seahawks. We have so many things that we try to find reasons to be against each other. We never look for the similarities and the things that bring us together anymore.
The lowest common
Yeah.
Anybody
Each
in
label
here.
is a division, like she said, either if it's football, if it's this county against the other county. It's this competition of we're better than you are. And you visit places all over the world, and you go in and you say, wow, this is just a nice family and they just want to exist in peace and haven't found anyone on the globe yet that wants a war and likes anything that's going on that's supposedly driving this machine. And we're connecting all with the same passion. There's got to be something. It's got to be something that we can do in the numbers that we're reaching across the globe.
The Liberty Beacon. I want to throw a question out there. Okay, can anybody remember any period in the history of this planet when there has not been a war going on? And stop and think about that, because wars generate prejudice. Prejudice generates ignorance. Ignorance generates fear, and fear is the best control mechanism on this planet. So just by virtue of warfare, the control mechanisms are not only put in place, but kept in place. Can anybody remember a time when there wasn't a war going on somewhere on this planet?
No, I think wars have been fervently extirpated throughout the last maybe couple
choreographed.
Of decades. But war has always been. Go back to King David. I mean, there was wars right from the get-go.
Yep. War is a mechanism that is utilized, and the end result is bigotry and fear, and that is where we get the word divisiveness from. They keep us divided. As long as we are divided, and Pattie said it so well, Paula said it so well, as long as you keep us divided, we have no strength. Like the Liberty Beacon Project, again, we take it to the lowest common denominator. We find the one thing we can all agree on, and that is we the people are being subjugated. We the people are suffering, not the people at the top that propagate all of this. So the one common factor we have is we all realize the system is broken and we are the ones suffering for it. It doesn't...
And the other thing, Roger, I'm going to throw in there is that we all have a vested interest. I mean, I come from, my family is Blackfoot Indians from Montana, obviously. And, it's really interesting because I grew up in the culture, and I'll tell you, I am just stunned at how the things are orchestrated now that, back in the day, you got to remember back in the 1800s, Native people didn't, it was like a barter system, and there was buffalo and there was fruits and berries and traditional things. They weren't handing out currency, but that was a foreign concept. And it's just really interesting that, they did live off the land. And yes, we all have a vested interest to have clean air and clean water, and water is a big thing. Water is a 21st century issue to me. We all have to have water just to think about water. That is one thing we cannot go without. And I think we're steamrolling into, a really pivotal time when water is a serious issue right now if you look at what's going on globally. So, that underpins all of this as we all have a vested interest for, a normal life for our children and grandchildren, really.
By all. So a portion of the Great Lakes is now owned by China. It has been sold.
Nestle and Monsanto in China.
Yep, has been sold to China. Water is becoming a currency for the 21st century, and it will be withheld from us as a mechanism of control.
I want to know who had the paper that said they owned it and the first to sell for them to buy.
Thank you, Paula.
I want to know who told them that this shit belonged to them. I'm sorry.
Why
this
don't you ask,
natural resource that was free when I was a kid. Because
why don't
we
you
had a
ask,
pump, that and a well, and like anybody else, the right to use it. It falls from the sky. Who owns what falls from the sky?
Oh,
why don't
geez. I mean, in the very beginning, I mean, right now, there are certain states you're not allowed to collect rainwater
Fact.
because of the fact you're not allowed to collect it because the law says you're not allowed to collect it. And if you do,
You
you're
go to
going
jail.
to jail.
Absolutely.
That's what is going on in the United States. Thank God Canada has not gone that far.
Oh, it'll be there.
Oh, I will pick up a gun, I tell you.
What do you mean
Well,
Canada's not gone that far? They just sold a vast majority of the Great Lakes to that we have on our side. We have a third of
Yes,
the. We
no,
have a third.
I'm talking rainwater, Sheila. I'm only talking rainwater.
I'm talking water. Period. Maybe we should ask T. Boone Pickens how to buy up water.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I mean, here you've got a Texas millionaire living on top of the Aguilala water,
Yeah.
aquifer,
Well,
and
after,
he's able to he's able to. Now this is the water that belongs to the people living on the land here. Yet
yeah.
he is able to drill down and bottle this water and sell it to the people.
For
Who
100.
it belongs to. Yeah, and it's okay. Yet you
Isn't that the
cannot go
craziest
out.
thing? Oh my
Right, you
God.
cannot go out and catch the water that falls from your roof to water your garden. Yet he can go and take water that is meant for the whole of the people on this land and put it into a bottle, put a label on it, and call it his. You
And
know,
nobody says nothing. And we buy it, and the it. We know we buy it. It's full. It's all over the ocean and in the garbage and everything. But it's just crazy that someone decided, because I was thinking, when I was a kid, okay, the whale thing, and then heard that they were going to put in the utilities. And it really, as a kid, I was thinking, I don't understand how they can sell us water. Well, they have to pay for the pipes. Well, at some point, those pipes, were paid for. They have to have the company that, but why? You know, I never understood why we had to buy something that we could get for free.
well, see, that's
It's
the
just,
game, though. That's their
and
game.
nobody
Is
notices it, kind of like.
Yeah, well, you have so many people today who, 3 generations from now, if we don't continue what we're doing, they will not remember this time. They will only have the history that was written for them to remember from. And so
Absolutely.
the things that we are fighting for right now, if they're not carried by our children into the future, if we don't correct it here and now, then 3 generations from now, they will not remember that there was tyranny. They will think that that is just the way life is. You know,
well,
it's
Wow.
let me interject something here that Paula brought up that not too many people are aware of, and this is one of the biggest ecological issues on this planet. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, where all of the currents run together, there is a an island about the size of New Zealand that is
Of
nothing,
garbage,
garbage and
but
plastic
plastic.
and mostly plastic and trash,
That's
about the
right.
size of New Zealand.
Yep.
Let's stop and think about that. Let's put that into perspective. How often do you hear about this? Has anybody heard this on the MSM? Has anybody heard this? Because it would sour so many people on using plastic. And plastic is a mechanism for generating money in a vast way for a lot of people who own very large corporations. So
There
try.
are huge amounts of countries as well as cities that have banned plastic and
Yep.
gone back to paper. I think that's the best thing that could ever happen.
Or you can get biodegradable film it looks like plastic, acts like plastic, but about a month after it goes into a landfill, it biodegrades and doesn't harm the soil.
Made from
It-
vegetable protein.
It's made from
hemp does that
vegetable
too.
protein.
That's right. Yeah,
Exactly.
Do the same
hemp
thing
is
with
a
hemp.
good one too. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely.
All paper, it all has to be made out of hemp because we don't need to put any more pressure on the forests of the planet as they are the lungs of the planet. Everything we're talking about can be done with the hemp plant. That really needs to be implemented, guys.
That's a super plant, Barry. Hemp.
Oh,
It's an
you know what?
unbelievable plant.
Oh, like I told you guys, I had the pleasure of spending time last year with Rick Simpson, and boy, one of the things he said to me when we first started talking, I started looking at the information. He says, Barry, this plant has the ability to heal this planet from the inside out through detoxification of our soil, through the use of hemp oil as a medical, as a fiber for our cotton industry can be eliminated, man. I mean, everything about hemp is just a win, win, win. There is nothing I've ever looked at in the implementation of hemp in our society that is not a win-win. And boy, if we could bring that one back, it's unbelievable what you can do with it.
Barry, hemp seeds are some of the most nutritious food you could possibly eat.
You know how big a jar I got out of there of hemp hearts? I eat them every day, Roger. I have been for about a year now. I have a big jar of hemp heart. I make that with flax seeds in the morning with my fiber and my wild blueberries and a couple other things. I throw it in there, and that's how I start my day every day, buddy. And boy, I'll tell you, want to feel a difference in your body and energy, guys? Man, get as much hemp into your body as you can. It's not about the THC. It's about the cannabinoids.
Keep it away
Barry,
from
I gotta tell you something. I went to India because they were going to extradite 500 acres of wild hemp in India. So I went to India to try to stop them from doing it. Unfortunately, I did not have enough money to buy off the politicians, so they eradicated it. I wanted to take it to make food and process that and give fiber for clothes, rope, etc. But you got to have money. That's the bottom line. Everybody wants money. And in India, when I went there, I went up to Himachal Pradesh, and the minister turned around and said, "What do you have for me?" And he said, "Oh, that's not enough. Goodbye."
Well,
Well,
go ahead,
go
Barry.
ahead, Rick. Well, you know what? Like I said, guys, I don't want to get into the rant about hemp, but I have never looked at anything in my life that has so many answers to some of the problems we have right now on the planet. And boy, I'll tell you, it's been taken out of society for a reason. It was taken out when the pharmaceutical industry came in. I mean, if Henry Ford had his way back in the 20s, man, the whole world would be different right now because Henry Ford was going to use an ethanol-based fuel to power all of his automobiles. And of course, the Rothschilds came along with the oil, and that was the end of that. But things could have been a lot different in our world if it hadn't been taken away. Our biggest mission right now is to bring it back into our society mostly through industrial use. I mean, that alone could absolutely revolutionize our world and eliminate massive amounts of pollution. Just the cotton industry alone, man. You know that cotton in production of the hemp fiber, we use a third of the water that we use for cotton production, and we have no carbon footprint, no chemical footprint in the water when we're finished producing hemp fiber. It's strictly a biodegradable footprint in the water, but yet when we produce it with cotton, it takes 3 times as much water, and there's a chemical footprint in the water. I mean, that's just one example. The list just goes on and on and on and on. So that's one of the things I do. I promote that quite heavily.
Barry, what you're talking about, we could take that a step further. What you're talking about is every once in a while a product or an invention comes up that absolutely throws the elite for a loop because they realize if this product or this idea or this scientific invention gets out, that it's going to rob them of a lot of the income or thus a lot of the power that they possess. And we can name a couple, like Tesla. We can name about 60 years ago in this country, somebody invented a carburetor that would take the average car from about 8 or 9 miles to the gallon, which was about an average back about 50, 60 years ago, to over 150 miles to the gallon. It was immediately taken off the market. There, we could go through, I don't know how many different concepts and ideas that we the people have tried to bring to the people to make life easier, to make life less costly, to make life more enjoyable. And when these are seen, they are immediately snatched up and hidden from us forever.
But on that note, Roger, I'm going to have to tell you, I would like you to have a look at keshfoundation.org, KESHE foundation.org. This is a person that was actually literally deported from Canada with the signature of Prime Minister Harper.
Okay.
He is giving us the understanding of plasma reactors and ultimate magnetic transference of vehicles. This is simple. The moon has a magnetic source. You don't need rockets to go to the moon anymore. You don't need rockets to go to any other source. Nor do you need a train to move the way it used to. It's a magnetic source based on, let me finish. Based
I'm not
on
saying anything.
Yeah, I know. Based on what the magnetic placement is between one place and the other place. All you have to do is sign the signature in. The vehicle will move from one place to the other place based on the magnetic signature.
Well, this is something, believe it or not, that even Tesla had something to do with as well. And
well, yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, you can. About a month ago, a gentleman who has been trying to sell a car that he has developed that you put water in the gas tank and you can run your car all day long, and when the tank's dry, you fill it back up from your tap again. And do you know that he has been stifled for something like 15 years from marketing that product?
Well, yeah, you're not allowed to.
It's a hydrogen-based vehicle.
That's right. The oil companies will turn around and shut that down as fast as possible. I mean, you look at Vancouver, and they're going Vancouver, British Columbia, and they're saying we're going to be the best green city. They got a shitload of buses on there that use hydrogen. And it is a good step forward.
Yeah, it is. Because the byproduct of a hydrogen vehicle is water.
It is water. That's right.
Water vapor comes out of the tailpipe.
That's it. That's the end of it. Yep. And Vancouver is doing this.
Yes, and I believe that is an excellent step. Pattie, I know you've got to have something to say about conservation. I know you have to.
Well, yes, I do, and you know, it's there's nothing that has been created upon this earth that does not have a valid use and a renewable source. It is the respect of life that we must all attune ourselves to. You know, we've come to a point in our lives to where we think that we have pets and that we have the right to have pets. We think that we have the right to determine what is a pest and what is not, what is pleasurable and what is not. We uproot and we destroy for the most imbecilic reasons. As you were saying, we have a plant that can be grown and used for paper, yet we decide that it might be better to destroy living forests because we can plant other trees in their place, but we never think about the ecosystems that are being supported by that forest, by that particular forest. And everything that is living on this earth is a part of a chain. We are all related. And the one time that we start to degrade that chain, of life, one link, no matter how far away from us, is the same thing as destroying our own lives, because everything is dependent upon another thing. Life exists because life dies on this planet. Everything is an ecosystem in itself, and also to the whole. What happens in Alaska is just as important to the outcome in Australia. Everything is connected. The life of our planet is dependent upon the respect of nature and allowing it to do its job. We have done so much to destroy its ability to heal itself, to feed itself. And in that essence, we have destroyed our own ability to feed ourselves. The disease that we see afflicting plants and animals now is the same disease that is afflicting us. We never make the correlation because we live in homes that are made of plastic and carpet and air conditioning and big screen TVs. We go outside and we spray our rose bushes with Sevin dust and stuff because we don't want mites. All of the over imbalance that we have is because we've destroyed the environment along the way. If you go in nature and you go into the areas of nature where man has not been, there is no imbalance. Life exists and is in perfect harmony. One life supports another life, and there is abundance, and there is everything that is needed. We don't live that way anymore. We've taken ourselves out of the equation as if we somehow are greater than the masses of life that support us. It makes no sense. It's idiotic to think that way. In that way, our mindset is like that of the Illuminati, who look at us like as if we were ants and inconsequential, that if we were to be removed from this planet, it would not be a burden. Yet if you were to take the ant off of this planet, if you were to take the bee, the honeybee, off of this planet, there would be detrimental effects.
Rude.
This is where we are. And it leads me to another thing that I would like to say. We're talking about the use of hemp and natural products that can replace those things that are destructive in our environment and in our lives today. The earth provides every single thing we need. We do not have to pull oil up out of the ground and change its molecular structure and turn it into a plastic that causes infertility and cancers. We don't have to do that. We have nature that provides us with the natural, renewable resources that can do everything that is being done today. It's not that we have to be without technology. We have the ability to create clean, renewable, and abundant technology for the whole world, so that there is no lack of food in one area, no climatic droughts in another area. We don't have to chemtrail the sky in order to protect our stratosphere. We don't have to do any of this. The Earth is its own package. It was created in such a way that it is unique in the universe so far, in the way that it is able to create life in every aspect and corner. The air has life. The trees, the roots, the ground, the water, everywhere you look, there is life. And the reason being is because that's what this planet is. It's a living being. And we are part of that structure. We can create clean technologies. We can create renewable resources. We can create energy. We can create everything. If you want to create a bottle to hold your liquids in, it can be done out of a renewable resource that is non-toxic and returns to the earth as it should. But as long as we buy into this monetary system and think that we must be compensated in order to provide a benefit for mankind, then we will forever be in the same place that we are now. We cannot look at life as if it can be bought and sold. We cannot look at the earth as if its resources can be bought and sold. Look at the result that we face today. How is it working? It's not. We need to go back to the natural. And people think that when I say this, and I'm talking about, oh, she wants us to go hug a tree. Yes, I do. Go hug a dang tree. Talk to that tree because it's part of you. It's who you are, you know?
Absolutely.
And if that tree is sick,
Oh,
it's because you are sick, you know? When you go to the doctor and you have a virus, does the doctor say, well, you have a virus, let me treat that guy next door and I'll get rid of your virus? No, that's not how it works, right? So if you go in nature and you see that nature is sick, what do? Do you go and you get more stuff from the store that made the tree sick, or do you help the tree by giving it what it needs, a natural environment that it can survive in? That's what we have to do. We have to change the way we think. We have to change our mindsets that we have a throwaway society and there's no repercussion from it. Like you said, we have a trash pile the size of New Zealand floating in the ocean. Is it our lives in the ocean that's suffering from this? No. But are we suffering because the life in the ocean is suffering? You better dang well bet we are.
Damn straight, lady.
Well,
That's
it,
I totally love you, Patty.
it,
And
it,
go ahead, Roger.
it goes just a little bit further than that because there are, and again, I've done the research on this, there are 800 scientists in 2009 and another 300 scientists not too long ago that signed petitions stating that not only are genetically modified plants, the food we eat, and a lot of other plants that are being genetically modified, not only are they a detriment to humanity, but they're a detriment to the biosphere. Well, let me explain something, people. Where go the biosphere goes humanity. Because without the biosphere, you might as well be living on the surface of the moon. It's what refreshes the air. It's what purifies the water. It's what gives us what we need to live. One of the biggest mistakes we're about to make, and if there's anything I could do to stop this, I would, but you have these biotech companies that are about to start planting GMO or genetically modified trees or forests. Once these forests start to proliferate, okay, and we already know that everything GMO has a backlash to it, what they will do is supplant all of the natural forests of this planet. And it won't take billions of years to do it. It won't even take millions of years to do it. And we're going to reach a point of no return. This is what these scientists are screaming about at the top of their lungs. If we continue to spread GMOs, genetically modified organisms, across this planet, when the bees go, the biosystem is going to collapse. When the trees go, the biosystem is going to collapse. I can keep going on, but yet each and every one of these are each being attacked in their own way. There are a massive amount of scientists across this planet that are raising the red flag saying we're either at or we have already crossed the point of no return. So when do we wake up and look around? When there's no air left to breathe? When there's no clean water left to drink, and when humanity is dead. Because we're headed there fast. And Pattie, you put it extremely eloquently. Thank you.
I love that little talk, Patty. You really hit home on everything that's true and dear to my heart and your theology, your analogy of things, man. We are very, very close to destroying our biosphere. Roger, I've done quite a bit of looking into exactly what you talked about. And like I said, we're under attack from all directions, guys. And it's really time that we all get together and address these issues and identify them. Pattie, I'm going to let you talk again for a second again. I love listening to you talk. I want you to talk again, okay? I'm making a request here, okay, guys? Go ahead, Pattie, please.
I'll
Please.
second that.
I'll third that. Fourth.
Third.
Please talk, Pattie.
This is your show now, Pattie.
Anyways, before you talk, Pattie, I just want to thank you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. And to be able to put networks together, to be able to provide that liberty for everybody. And if we can do this, which we are doing, alone and congregate into one spot, the voice will be heard so much bigger. Pattie, you're on.
Well, thank you guys. I'm really really honored and humbled. But I would like to say, um, I I've been told that I have a way with words. It's always been that way. But the fact that you agree with me, that you hear what I say, we're all the same. We all understand and we all come from the same place. That's the wonderful gift that we have to give to each other and to share with the world. This is where we truly shine, in our ability to come together and understand the truth that's in each of our hearts. And we come from different places. We come from different cultures. We bridge the gap that they have tried so hard to put between us. And we use words, but our heart speaks to each other in this. And, I was just thinking as I was listening, that, it's really amazing that we have, 7 billion people on this planet, and we have a small percentage who are actually sitting up on the top of the hill. And we have the ability to make this change. We have what we need. We have the strength. We need the courage and the commitment to step outside of the box, to realize that these few thugs that sit up on the hill are so afraid of us. They are so scared that they think that they have to call the herd to keep us from becoming aware, to keep us from coming together. It brings the story of the Tower of Babel to where when the people started building the Tower of Babel, and they were going to take it up to the heavens to speak with God, and the thugs came along and they said, "No, wait a minute. These guys have a inside idea on how to defeat us. Okay, let's confound their language." And they've been doing that ever since. They put things between us so that we don't want to communicate with each other. They put, the worst thing that I've ever heard them say is that, watch your neighbor. If you see something, say something. And to me, it is the last destructive straw that can be placed between us, because when you start calling your neighbor in because he didn't recycle properly, or because his grass is too tall, or perhaps his house isn't the color of everyone else's, and you start making your life this petty, that you live in such fear of conformity that you cannot see outside the box, then you have to know that you are in trouble, that your own being is in trouble, and you are destroying your own chance of life, because you're not living, you're existing. We have a right to live. We have a right to be in whatever form we choose under the law that is greater than any man's law, and that is the law of creation. Do no harm. We have that ability. Each one of us knows inherently what is right and what is wrong. We know what it is that we desire in life. We know what it is that we want to create, but we're unable to because we're sequestered. We are bound by regulations and laws and structures that tell us that we cannot step outside the box, because if we do, then we commit an infraction against all of us. And that's the big lie. Go ahead.
Pattie, what you just said, I just want a short interruption here, because what you just said that's a lie. And 99.9% of the issue, the divisiveness, the warfare, that this entire planetary society is going through today is because the mass majority of what we are told is lies. And for that, I have something I'd like to say, okay? And that is truth. Truth is the answer to a lot of our issues, because truth will dispel ignorance. Dispel ignorance and you will alleviate hatred. Alleviate hatred and you will remove bigotry. Remove bigotry and respect will flourish. When respect flourishes, love will soon follow.
Absolutely. And trust. we need to trust in ourselves as well as the people who surround us in our communities. We have to be willing to reach out to step past that fear that's within ourselves. You know, how many times have you walked down the street and had someone pass by and not even raise your eyes to meet theirs? It is a sign that we have stepped away from our own creation. We are all related. You know, we should be willing to look a person in the eye and show them our intent, because that's where our intent lives. We should be willing to put our hand out in friendship to anyone, whether they have a frown on their face or not. If they have a frown on their face, then it's more important that we reach out to them and let them know you're part of the human race. We can support each other. You know, this is what we need to do instead of finding the ways that we can separate each other. You know, it doesn't matter if you believe in God, if you believe in Buddha, if you believe in Muhammad, if you believe in the Creator. It does not matter if you don't believe in God. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in life and the essence of life. We have the right to be happy. We have the right to live in abundance. And we have the skills and the ability to do that. So why aren't we? Why aren't
Because it's being stolen from us.
Well, people are parked in front of a television set. They have that stare going on, or they're keeping up with the Jones, or they're working two jobs and don't get time with their children. You know, full of GMOs, vaccines, fluorides, and that's why we got to do what we got to do. Just because I do see a tide turning just a bit in our favor, and people are starting to really listen to us. And I'd like to introduce Catherine. Sorry that I just added to the call. Roger, you know her. You were on her show. And Adam White and Pattie Walkinturtle and Barry Prince. This is Catherine Catwaters.
Hi, Cat.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you for asking me to come on, Paula. How are you guys doing?
Well, actually, we're having a very deep philosophical discussion, and we've touched on so many points at this point in the show that my head is about to explode. But that's not to say in a bad way. The people we've got interjecting different ideas and issues here seems to be a great roundhouse. And I'm going to have to say goodbye to everybody because I have some other things I need to attend to. But Pattie, thank you so much. You've really put some great words out. Paula, thank you for hosting this. Barry and Adam, the Liberty Beacon Project wouldn't be the same without y'all. And Kat, I'm sorry I can't stick around and chat with you because you're always an interesting person to talk to. But I'm sure everybody listening at this point will find that out for themselves. Have a good night, all.
Thanks, Roger. Good night.
Thanks,
Good night, Roger.
I could share with you guys the event that I went to tonight in Lower Manhattan. In this, it was freezing cold out, but about 50 or so people turned out for an event called. It was a vigil, and the organization is called No Separate Justice, and we all met down. It's called the MCC, the Metropolitan Correction Center in Lower Manhattan, where they're holding.
You guys had $20 delivery. Now you're $30. I just
Ain't that?
So.
Get me an extra fry.
And, so yeah, they're indefinitely detaining a lot of I don't even really know. They for each, they're going to be doing it once a month at the first Monday of every month, and they're going to highlight a different detainee, and which most of them are Muslim Americans. And tonight they highlighted one person Sorry, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but they have them in solitary confinement for like years at a time, and just the treatment and the conditions are just of course completely inhumane.
Horrific.
And
And it was
my
freezing, and you said you had about 50 people come out?
I would say about 50. Just one out of my 3 videos have uploaded at the moment, and so I pretty much like videoed the whole thing. And there were various speakers.
Awesome, we'll share it on air too.
Okay.
Kat's also a Wake Radio host. She does organic news. And it was funny because Roger Landry who does a show on Wake Radio, was one of her guests, and didn't realize it until we were like getting ready to go on, that we were all in the same circle. But it was a great show.
Yeah, it was a good one.
But I didn't mean to take you off of that. Wow. I'm glad you were able to tape and get us some stuff to share.
Yeah, the speakers are really, really, good. This one woman who was a lawyer, like for some of the detainees at Guantanamo, spoke. And this is the same event that I did the radio show live from at that church, at the Judson Memorial Church, and we had Tamir Mahena on, who's the brother of Tariq Mahena, who's been indefinitely detained for years. There's so many different locations. Like I can't remember all the locations of the prisons where these people are held, but they keep talking about this one place in Florence, called Florence. Like either the institution is called Florence or it's in Florence, Colorado, or something, where a lot of people are held, and of course, Guantanamo. But there's really just so much corruption going on in the world. It's really, we have to stop it from reaching that critical point, because once it reaches and tips, that critical point, we can't let it get to that point, or we're going to be in really big trouble.
Have they done anything like have the family members or somebody represent someone and say how long they've been detained? Have they not had a trial?
Yeah, let me just...
I think putting a face to these guys and the length of time is just torture. One guy was that we were talking, or you were talking to, I was there, right? And I was supposed to be quiet then.
Yeah.
But wasn't it, oh my God, solitary confinement for over a year? That was one of the Central Park 5. What?
I can't imagine solitary confinement for a year, man. That would just drive me crazy.
Yeah, and it wasn't he didn't even do it. The guy finally confessed to the crime, and the police knew it that arrested these guys. They had DNA, and they knew it wasn't these kids that were like 16 years old and went to jail for 13 years.
Yeah.
Before they got out.
Oh, well, that's kind of what I was thinking about. That's the way that
as these people are going. Yeah. Oh God.
I'm not really going off topic, but I watched Democracy Now! For a bit today, and there was this clip that I watched, and they were talking to people that had put together this documentary called Kids for Cash, about the judge in Pennsylvania that was just, putting these kids in jail and getting kickbacks, for how many kids he could just throw in jail, for just, ridiculous offenses like making a Facebook page, making fun of the vice principal of the school, or just something so ridiculous like that. So right now I'm just bringing up the No Separate Justice website. So it says, what is the No Separate Justice campaign? The human rights and civil rights abuses taking place in the military prison at Guantanamo Bay have rightly been placed under a spotlight by people of conscience around the world. Some believe that if only those detained at Guantanamo could be transferred to American soil to be held and tried as civilians, the abuses would end and justice would be done. Yet many of the same abuses can be found in the hundreds of, war on terror is in quotes, cases that have been processed through courtrooms and federal prisons across the United States since 9/11. These abuses, which include inhumane conditions of confinement, both pre- and post-trial, secret intrusive surveillance, vague material support charges, FBI-created plots brought into communities through paid informants, and the criminalization of Islamic speech and association remain largely invisible. The mission of the No Separate Justice campaign is to place these abuses taking place in prisons and courtrooms across the United States firmly on the agendas of human and civil rights organizations, the media, and the U.S. public through education and activism that draws directly upon the experiences and voices. Is everybody okay? Sounds like somebody's locked. They're trying to get through a door.
That's Adam typing. I'm sorry.
All right. Catherine, everybody, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. It's so wonderful that you guys can network together with two different radio networks. And thank you for being with the TLB network. But I do have to run. So I do have another engagement.
Thanks, Adam, for hanging out. Yeah, we're just like flying by the seat of our pants, so I sure appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow.
It's been a blast, and I'm loving it. And Catherine, I haven't met you before, but geez, I love what you're saying.
What's your name,
amazing.
Adam?
Adam White.
White. Okay. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
He'll be hosting here at Awake Radio too. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And Barry.
Thanks, Pattie. Thanks, Paula. And Barry, we'll talk
Pattie,
again. And Catherine, I hope we talk soon.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
All right. Cheers, everybody. I love you guys.
Good night.
And Barry's been so quiet. I wonder, what's going on there.
I'm just sitting back here tonight taking this all in. I mean, what happens to Paula, honestly, and Pattie, everything that Pattie was saying was right true and dear to my heart. She really, really hits the analogies right. And it's really hard for me to get a word in edgewise when I got such an incredible speaker like her talking. So, Pattie, you gotta get a little bit less good at what you're doing, okay? Give us amateurs a chance. Look, you know what, guys? Everything that's been said tonight really, really has opened up lots of thoughts in my brain, and we have really come close to destroying this planet, and that's really a scary thought when you think of our children coming up and the generations to come after us. It's like, what have they got to look forward to? We only touched on a few subjects tonight. Like, we didn't get into the threats of nuclear power and everything else that's happening on our planet right now. It's so negative. But then Pattie comes along and puts a smile on all our faces with her analogy. That was great, Pattie. You really got me thinking tonight. And Catherine, it's really nice meeting you. That's the first time I've had a chance to talk to you. So.
And say your name. Sorry, I didn't get your name.
My name?
Yeah.
My name is Barry Prince.
Barry Prince. Nice to meet you, Barry.
Nice to meet you. Are you still with us, Pattie? You're being very quiet.
Yes, I'm being very quiet.
If I could also just quickly share that that they kind of accepted me to be able to go to Gaza with the organization Code Pink, which they've been there many times since this organization started in 2002. And it's mostly an organization of women, although it's not only women. And they're just trying to bring light and stand up to, just civil rights abuses, and they've been doing a lot of good work for some time now. And so they're taking a group of 15 delegates to go to Gaza, and it's for International Women's Day on the 8th, and we're going to land in Cairo and then attempt to cross like a blockade into Gaza. That's the plan, the purpose of this trip, because it's supposedly this border that has been closed stops people from getting supplies, and it's and we're going to attempt to cross this blockade. I mean, there's no guarantee that we're going to be able to, but I mean, it's
wow.
It's a lot of courage to do that, because that's a volatile area of the world right now. So, like, commend your courage.
I mean, like we had a woman, last year who went on a trip to, I believe they went to Gaza, and we had her on Danny Schechter's radio show, and she said, she felt safe the entire time. Of course, like, you have to abide by some, rules, like stick together and not go wandering off, by yourself or anything like that. But if I could read just a little bit about Code Pink and what they do. I guess I'll just read. Code Pink has emerged out of a deep desire by a group of American women to stop the United States from invading Iraq. The name Code Pink plays on the former Bush administration's color-coded Homeland Security alerts, yellow, orange, red, that signaled terrorist threats. While Bush's color-coded alerts were based on fear and were used to justify violence, the Code Pink alert is a feisty call for people to wage peace. Since then, Code Pink has become a worldwide network of women and men committed to working for peace and social justice. We have become famous for confronting the warmongers, whether in the halls and hearing rooms of Congress, the national conventions of both the Republicans and Democrats, George Bush's fundraisers for publicity tours of Karl Rove, Condoleezza Rice, Donald Rumsfeld, and others, and Nancy Pelosi's house. And trying to find Palestine and Israel. Let me just find the like the trip to Gaza and why we're going, and what the what's going on over there.
While you're looking for that, I'd like to add, I thought of Code Pink as the ladies, but they actually need men over there as well.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's definitely not. It's not genderized or anything like that. So they welcome all genders. And okay, my computer is so. The purpose of the delegation is to show solidarity with the women of Gaza, to bring attention to the unbearable suffering caused by the Israeli blockade, to educate people back in our home countries, and to push for opening the Gaza borders, and to bring solar lamps to help with the electricity shortage. Sorry, I'm just going to go. So what's happening in Gaza? It says, before Egypt's military ousted Morsi on July the 3rd, an estimated 1,200 people a day used to cross through Rafah, which is where this blockade is. which was Gaza's main window to the world. Since then, the average number of permitted travelers has only been 250 each day if Rafah is open at all. At this article's writing, Rafah has been closed for 6 consecutive days. Euromid Observer for Human Rights estimates that at least 10,000 Palestinians are currently on the waiting list to cross the Gaza side alone. Many of the individuals left stranded are students trying to get to universities after months of effort to apply for scarce scholarships. It talks about a 23-year-old refugee set to begin studying global politics at law at the UK Sheffield University after working hard to obtain partial scholarship and fundraising through an online campaign. With about half of the needed donations already in, Mohammed took a risk and made arrangements to travel to the UK on September 18th. Now she's wondering if all that work was for naught. Gaza really is the world's biggest prison, and it's become more so every day. We thought the Rafah crossing was our exit to freedom and happiness, but it has become a place where people lose their hopes. She posted on Facebook. And then it talks about like this tunnel, like supplies used to be able to go through this tunnel that they've also blocked. I mean, I'm just like learning about this stuff myself. I'm like far from an expert on it. I mean, I do know that, you know, Israel is taking over and Palestine has been shrinking and shrinking more and more over time. It goes and just talks a little bit about the militarization of the Gaza-Egypt border. It says, indicative of just how much and how permanently the situation on the ground is changing in the news, that the Egyptian army has begun bulldozing and blowing up houses on its side of the border near Rafah. The action is step one towards clearing the way for a buffer zone hundreds of yards wide between the two sides, replicating the barren no man's land that Israel enforces inside Gaza to keep Palestinians from approaching the Israeli border. Hamas officials told the Washington Post that the Egyptian military plans to dig a moat along the border and fill it with water. Meanwhile, this month, 2 Egyptian army tanks crossed into the Gaza side of the border for the first time. Although they didn't go far, it created a precedent. Gaza fishermen are being attacked as well. On September 14th, news reports confirmed that Egyptian naval forces had opened fire at and arrested 2 fishermen in waters off Rafah. That was the second time in recent weeks that Egyptian forces opened fire at Gaza fishermen. It goes on a little bit, you know, and so that's it. I mean, we'll be going from the 5th until the 13th, although my flight is only till the 12th. I you know, chose to come back a day early to take advantage of a non-stop flight. Oh, somebody just hung up. Did somebody leave?
Yes, that was just Barry. He had to go.
Oh, bye, Barry. So anyway, I have, you know, I made a Facebook page. It's basically just called A Trip to Gaza. I'm trying to share, you know, maybe get some donations would be nice. And a GoFundMe page. And I actually realized that the neighborhood that I live in here in Brooklyn has one of the largest Palestinian population in New York, I believe. And so I was actually going to maybe take a visit to the area and see if I can, you know, talk to some people about what's going on, and, you know, maybe get some donations would be helpful. And
There may even be some of the people there who have relations there, and can possibly put you in touch with them.
You know, it's funny because like I found on YouTube, like this guy made a video of the neighborhood and all of the Middle Eastern, because there are a lot of Middle Eastern businesses down in the area, which I'm, pretty familiar with, and when I looked up online, a lot of the people like are from that area, that region. Some are from Gaza, and some were from a section called, I think it was Rallah, Rallah, if I'm saying it right. I'm not 100% sure that I am, but it's something like that. And so I actually wrote messages to some of them on Facebook, just randomly, like, trying to let people know about my trip to Gaza. So, it's good to just try to come together with people.
I'm excited.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm so excited for her to go because I know the activist in Cat, and she really cares.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Like I just try to let my instincts sort of guide me, and so we'll see what happens. I mean, it should be good. It should be safe, and like it says in the code pink email, like there's no guarantee that we're even going to be allowed to cross this border, and so we might just end up spending time in Cairo. But who knows? Maybe I'll even just join up with Code Pink after this.
You can write a book about your experience. I tell you, we'll be waiting for anything that you can give us from over there too, reporting. Tell us what's going on as it's happening.
I have to bring my camera, of course, take a lot of pictures and videos, hopefully get to interview people. I think it's, because I mean, most people's attitudes are, when things are going on the other side of the world, like we're so disconnected. I mean, most people, really don't even care about what's going on the other side of the world. So if you can bring photographs or videos or something and really show people, I mean, unfortunately, I don't speak Arabic or anything like that. I mean, hopefully maybe somebody will be able to translate if I, get to, we're supposed to, if we get into Gaza, be able to, interview, farmers and fishermen and people like that, which would be nice. And, hopefully there'll be a translator, or I'll just film them speaking their language, and maybe when I get back here, have somebody.
Well, they've done this so many times that they know exactly who to keep with you, ladies. I'm saying ladies because every time I see a picture for Code Pink, it's usually many women. And if I see a man, he looks like he's from there, and it's so. But I think that part you'll be safe as far as translating. But the stories you're going to get are going to be incredible.
Yeah.
And cannot wait to have you share. Cannot wait to have you back safe. It's my sister, Many prayers for your safety, and I keep sharing because I hope you get the money to go.
Yeah, like I right. I mean, I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm definitely rich in my passion for justice and truth. and I wish my monetary funds could keep up with my passion for justice. Unfortunately, that's the case, but other people don't always have the passion for justice that I do either. And I mean, it hasn't been that long that I've been trying to get some donations, but I made like not even $100. I mean, the trip will probably cost around $1,500, which isn't that much considering. And so, hopefully I can, if I could raise it a 1,000, that would be nice.
Yeah, because you haven't, like you said, you haven't had it out there that long. What, 2 or 3 days now?
Yeah, it's been a few days. So I guess I'll plug if people want to check out the Facebook page. All they have to do is just look up Trip to Gaza. They'll see me. And it's the same thing basically with GoFundMe. Just Trip to Gaza. And they'll find, and they can make, even a small donation would be appreciated. And so, I think tomorrow there's something going on that's pretty good in the news. Let me see. Oh, I'm here. Rally against surveillance. Is this it? Sorry, this, rally against surveillance. Is that the one I'm thinking of? I know that they're going to do a Twitter storm tomorrow, against NSA surveillance.
I think on the 11th there are several corporations, that are going to be doing a blackout.
What's the Fight Back or something it's called? I know there's something going on. Fight Back, right? Fight Back.
Yeah,
I didn't hear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where is it?
What's going on? What?
Oh, yeah.
What are they doing and why?
I found it. The Day We Fight Back is tomorrow. It starts Tuesday at midnight. Okay, February 11th, 2004. Thousands of websites and tens of thousands of people will come together for a day of online protest. Mass surveillance. I guess, to protest mass surveillance, but it looks like they might have left a word out. But it says there's a link to sign up, and then it reads what will happen on Friday the 11th. If you're in the U.S., thousands of websites will host banners urging people to call, email Congress. Plans may change, but we intend to ask legislators to oppose the FISA Improvements Act, support the USA Freedom Act, and enact protections for non-Americans. If you're not in the U.S., visitors will be asked to urge appropriate targets to institute privacy protections. And then it just it tells you how to get involved. So again, that's on Facebook. It's just called The Day We Fight Back Against Mass Surveillance.
Yeah, there's also 5,300 web-based companies and other organizations, including Reddit, Imgur, Tumblr, Mozilla, and the Electric Frontier Foundation, the American Civil Liberties Union, who are joining forces, and they are saying that they are going to go black, which means that they will be out of service. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I'm not exactly like, what is going to take place. It's about banner posting on websites.
Yes.
Urging people to call. Right. So it's going to be calling and emailing Congress. But I think there's another one on Twitter. Like there's supposed to be like a Twitter storm tomorrow against, I believe it's the Federal Reserve, that they're going to be, I'm not sure if it's Yellen's first day in the Federal Reserve. And they're going to, I'm just going to try to find it.
There's, you can go to the daywefightback.org and you can get the banner from that site to be able to post it.
Shazizz from shazizzradio.com, which we're also going over live, is added and joining the call.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, I'm not on a very good computer right now. I'm on my laptop, but I was listening to this show, and I'm glad to hear about the Gaza deal. I was contacted just about a couple, 3 or 4 days back by a man in Gaza that made me aware that the kids over there need school books and school supplies. And so with that said, I've been trying to contact as many people as I could possibly get a hold of that have any kind of connections whatsoever over there in Gaza. See, the trick to getting these school supplies and stuff over there, as I'm sure you already know, is the red tape. You know, you got to go through Israel to get anything into Gaza pretty much. And so with that said, I'm trying to get a contact between somebody from Palestine, somebody from Israel, and a third-party mediator in between, plus myself, for a conference call that I can try to arrange something to get these kids some books and some...
Well, here you go.
So if by chance you do make it over there, Catherine, to Gaza, and you get any kind of connections, I would like to try to help out as much as possible, because these kids are in this war zone. It's, you know, it's not their fault that they're there. You know, it's not the situation they created, but these kids still need to be able to get an education, you know, regardless, until the big little kids finally get their act together, if you know what I mean.
I've been doing a bit of reading lately about, you know, what's going on, trying to keep myself up to date on what's going on over there. And I came across some articles of, like a lot of children are being killed over there also. There's a couple of stories by, I think the guy's name is Brad Parker, was somebody that wrote a couple of the articles, and it's pretty horrible. I posted it on Facebook.
Well, like I said, it's terrible these kids are even going through that. You know, before these knuckleheads decide they're going to start fighting, at least they should get the kids out of the way. You know.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
That
makes too much sense.
I told a story on the Knights of the Round Table about a video that I watched, and there was these 2 little girls, and this man asked them, he says, do you want peace with Israel? And they were telling this man, we never want peace with Israel because they killed my mom and dad. Well, the scary thing about that is those 2 little girls could very well grow up to be the future warriors that would kill somebody else's mom and dad. And so somehow those chains have to be broken. You know?
That's what Jeremy Scahill said today on Democracy Now! Just talking about, they have him and Glenn Greenwald have teamed up, and they have a site, First Look Media. It's, and I think their project is called Intercept. Of course, like that's their argument is this war on terror, so-called terror. I don't like to use that word because it's not an accurate description, because every time they, blow up or drop drones on innocent people, they're creating more terrorists because I don't consider somebody who, has a natural, response to want to retaliate against having your family members, innocent civilians blown up by a drone, a terrorist, To me, that's a normal response.
I agree with you 100% on that. That's why I brought that little story up about those children, is because, until we break that cycle, it's just going to be a never-ending battle. But in the meantime, there's a lot of kids all over this world that need help. There's a lot of them in war-torn zones, refugee camps, and so on and so forth. But getting anything done is like pulling teeth because, like you said earlier, I can't speak Arabic, neither can you. And so somehow or another, from the outside, we're trying to reach in there and trying to help out. And it's pretty tough.
And, and of course the U.S. military is supposed to be over there helping out, but of course that's not happening. Of course they claim to be helping, but they're not helping at all. And
they're helping themselves.
That's why I keep saying on the nights of the round table is that none of this is going to get done unless we the people actually do it. So, regardless of the system out there, I've got a couple church folks and the churches working on some things, and I'm building up some connections all over the globe. And if somehow or another I can stay in contact with you and whatever organizations you put together. That's why I love all these networks and all these radio networks coming together, because we can actually, use each other resources and help each other out to accomplish these things.
Well, Kat is a Wake Radio host. She does organic news. I think you got a picture of her on your site.
Yeah, I think she was going to do it on our side as well. But
Pattie Walkinturtle is joining with us. Roger Landry has brought us Barry White and Barry Prince and Adam White, and and pretty soon we'll be going out on Alan Taylor-Shearer's as soon as I get the encoder hooked up on their station. It's
cool.
And everybody joining together. But yeah, I'll send you Kat's contact. Shazizz, this was just an improv too. Barry and Adam wanted to do tonight, and then they pulled in Roger, and then they grabbed Pattie, and also Sheila Zilinsky has been on. So I've been sitting back here like, oh my gosh, talking to all these amazing hosts, and then here comes Shazizz. Oh geez.
I don't know how you feel about religious or spiritual beliefs, but I kind of felt like it was kind of like divine intervention, because I've been running around trying to find people that had any kind of connection with Gaza, and next thing you know, I'm hearing Kat on the Kat. I'm hearing her on the radio, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get on this. I rushed in there and got my laptop fired up and tried to catch it. I was hoping, praying that it was going to be a live broadcast. And here we are.
Well, I kind of really learned, Yeah, I heard a lot of things about Gaza and learned a lot about Gaza through Ken O'Keefe. I don't know if you're familiar with him. You should look up Kenneth O'Keefe. He's that guy is. I don't even have words to describe him, but he's like pure, and just you don't meet people. I mean, I haven't met him yet, but there are not many people like him in the world. Anyway, I'm not sure if you, were able to hear. But if you want to share, with anybody that's interested in this subject, just share my Facebook. Just look up on Facebook "Trip to Gaza," and you should be able to find the page that I made, and share it with anybody that might care to just make a small contribution. I know it stinks when everything has to come down money all the time. But
Well, I understand that, but we can make that happen. I got a few ideas, and I know I got some friends with some ideas, and so if we all pull together and keep doing what we're doing, I think we can make something happen.
yeah,
That's awesome.
I sent a request on Skype to Shazizz, so it's the only one that came up, and so if you you can be in touch with me through Skype there, and that would be really. So I'm probably gonna bow out now and get myself to sleep. I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I've got to get back to what I was working on. I got a project that I'm working on that I think could possibly help some people out in some third world countries as well. So,
oh boy. Yeah, we're going to be a third world country soon.
It will.
Sorry. Oh, is he still there?
I think we lost him. There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I say I appreciate you guys letting me cut in there, and I'm gonna have to get out of here too because I got a project that I'm working on that could possibly help some folks in the third world country and stuff.
Awesome. It was Barry and Adam's show, so we were kind of left over. Thank you so much, Shazizz, for coming on.
No problem.
I'm so glad that you guys hooked up with us.
I will look that contact deal up there. It hasn't seemed to come through yet, but as soon as it does, I'll accept it and would love to be in touch with you and see if we can figure something out.
Well, I dragged you into her line, and I dragged her into your chat line. So if you look in your your Skype, you should see her.
Okay, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, see, the thing that's weird, it's like I sent a Skype request to Shazizz, but it's got the Z's are like the opposite. It's got SHAZZIZ, and the one that Paula just sent me with your picture on it is SHAZIZZ.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, I was always wondering. I couldn't. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, so I'll just add you then.
Great.
Well, you're already. Are you already added to me? I believe.
We be because I think we might have set your pod page up on Shazizz Radio.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Right. Well, I'm glad you. I heard you talking about Gaza tonight because that's a project that I've been working on ever since I got contacted by the man.
Amazing. Well, that's a relief. It's I need to definitely connect to people that are interested and, because it's so far away, it's easy to not, a lot of people have no idea what's going on.
Like I said before, we've got an awesome opportunity here with all these networks, and we need to keep it rolling because I think it's a good thing, and if we don't do it, there's nobody else that's going to do it.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. Tag, you're it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Sorry, folks.
Well, it's a worthy cause.
It definitely is. I mean, I'm going. So, I mean,
whatever you do, just be safe because we don't want nobody hurt. But if you do get over in that area and you can get anybody to talk, send them my direction because I'm working behind the scenes trying to get as much help as I possibly can to get these kids at least some books and some pencils and stuff like that.
Okay.
Also, Pattie, I don't want you to leave without saying your radio station too on air, and I shared it in the chat line.
Yeah, we can. If she sends some links over to me later on, whenever I'm at the other at my lab, I can use the computers over there and put some links on the website for her, so that it'll help get some more listeners over there.
Thank you very much, Shazizz.
You're welcome. It's all about
This is how we are here.
Yeah, if you go on the where it says the radio host on the website and you look, there will be alternative radio networks. So we're putting all different networks on there, and as much as we can help promote you, we will.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I've already put your link and everything up on our site. Also, we support you guys 100%, and we're very happy to be sharing our networks together, bringing them together. It's something that we're very proud to be able to do.
There's two really good things about what we're doing here. One is that because we're multiple networks, if they knock one of us off, we've done this before, and Paula will agree, if somebody knocked us off, we fired up the other network and we kept on rolling. And so, they can't stop us,
That's right. That's right. And we work closely with No Borders Radio also. This is the way we begin, and we just keep on. And pretty soon we've got the consensus, and that's what we're going for.
And we're coming from all different nations as well. So step back to the big guys because we're climbing up on them.
Absolutely.
Good
That's
night,
right.
everybody.
Another word, but absolutely.
Good night,
So
Catherine.
anyway, if you get me some links or links to your page or whatever, I could snag a banner off of your page and make you a nifty little a banner ad on Shazizz Radio so that people know where you're at.
Okay. We can definitely do that.
And also
All right.
1-800 online with Alan Taylor-Shearer. You want to come on the call, Alan? I'm going to add him to the call. Is everybody hung up? Did everybody go?
I'm still here.
Oh, good.
I thought we had somebody else getting ready to talk, so I was being quiet.
I have Alan, but I don't know if he wanted to be called. He had mentioned and my station, so he's listening too.
Yeah, we can. Any networks that are interested, they want posted on my site. I'll put them up there as long as they're doing good works like we're doing. Hey, that's what it's all about. I don't care what radio station they listen to, just as long as the word gets out. So it don't have to be Shazizz Radio. You can all rush over to Awake Radio or No Borders Radio or Pattie's station or Alan's station, whichever one you listen to. Hey, how you doing there, brother?
Very well, thank you, Shazizz. Great to hear you all. I obviously had to chip in because there's another network here that's ready to help and assist in any way it can.
Absolutely. Alan has been amazing help to me with Steve in the hospital and recuperating and everything. Night Cat.
You get me some links and to any network. I don't care if you got a buddy who has a network and you want. We'll promote each other as much as we possibly can.
I'm going to start sharing all three of you guys' Skypes, okay? While you're talking. Alan, I'm throwing you into Shazizz and Pattie, and Pattie, I'm going to throw you back at them.
Okay.
Throw me in the mix.
I think this is amazing, man. This is just awesome because since we started this deal, and me and these folks from Awake Radio come together, we actually came from another network, and then we just kept on adding networks, and we're just going to keep on until pretty soon we'll just be so big that nobody will be able to shut us up.
But it's the only way forward. So really, like you say, with the if one network has issues, is closed down, then you can always pop over to the next one. But the same audience is able to keep listening. And it's
exactly.
For the sake of just clicking maybe another link or something like that, as long as it keeps the word going, as long as it keeps the message going, that's what's important.
Well, one thing that I'd like to see happen, and I don't care whose chat room it is, but I would like to see somehow or another we combine. That way, no matter which radio station these folks are listening on, they'll still be able to communicate with all the other folks that's involved so they can actually see the big picture. I can see the big picture
awesome.
from my numbers, I can see the big picture, but when you look at individual chat rooms, it really doesn't look very like there's a whole lot of people. But believe me when I say that there are a lot more people than you can possibly imagine listening to us. They just don't all have access to the chat room. And so if we as networks decide we're going to keep our own website, obviously we're going to keep our own format and all that kind of stuff, but we could share chat rooms and just kind of rebroadcast.
We've got the same chat room in Awake US as we do as in Awake UK. I don't see why we couldn't share that or make
Well, you should see when I'm doing my radio show. I've got multiple chat rooms up, and I'm trying to talk to everybody in there. So I have to every once in a while just run straight with Shazizz chat room because it takes so much of the computer's memory that I can't keep it all. I'm working on when I get my new my computer room together. I'm going to have multiple computers with multiple things going on at the same time, so I don't have to worry about that problem. But
awesome. That's kind of what Steve has set up. He's got a mind for radio.
If we took one page off of every chat, just keep your normal chat just like it already is. But if we took one page off of our website and just dedicate it to like a community chat, where you could either be on the Awake Radio chat, or you could be on Shazizz Radio chat, or you could be on all of them simultaneously via one chat. You see what I'm saying?
Revolution Radio has something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'll check with them and see what program they're using and how they've got it set up, and see if we can get that done, because it does make a lot of sense, and yeah, it would work wonderfully.
Yeah, right now I'm going through Chat Tango because it's free. There are some paid ones out there, but it would require some funds somehow or another. That's what they use, like what they used over at MSI, which is Ning Chat, and Ning Chat has a lot more cool toys and all that, but we don't necessarily need all the toys. We just need all the people to be able to communicate back with links, and you need something over there, I can ship it to you or whatever. That's what it's all about.
Right, and they do have other software applications like PalTalk and things like this that can be accessed from the desktop. That maybe we could look into also. I'm on a Ning network also and have the chat. It's got neat little things, but it's not as great as it's made out to be.
Well, I kind of like the little Chat Tango one. It's free, but, and I don't care who's listening to what we're saying, because we're not saying that we wouldn't say to nobody's face anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We encourage the NSA to listen, because then we can educate them.
Yeah, we say hi to them all the time on my show. We say hi to all of them.
And don't forget Janice and Barry, who are my they're my monitors at the donut at GCHQ at Cheltenham. I always say a big hello to them, and I welcome them along, because you never know that just something might click in their minds that just makes them think, hold on a minute, something is very wrong here.
Yeah, I agree with you. But like I said,
I believe the same way. That's how I think. Please listen. I mean, really listen.
We've really got an awesome opportunity here, and on the alternative energy side, with virtual labs coming online, I believe that's going to be really beneficial also, as far as helping out third world countries, getting some ideas. Like I've got one little nifty deal that I'm using. I don't know if you guys know about the pop boat contest that we were working on, but out of that sparked a way that I can pump water up using heat alone. And so I'm pumping water out of one container, and then pumping the water back into the same container with a little miniature alcohol burner.
Wow!
That's so wicked. You guys haven't seen his redneck hot tub. Hang on.
So you don't need electricity in order to pump water, and that's a plus.
That is good. Because I'm actually on a well myself, so I'm reliant on electricity to get the pump working so that I can have water. So if I get a power cut, I also get a cut in water. So any means that I can use to supplement that.
Do you burn wood?
Yes.
Okay, I will try to work out a design by which you can connect I'll create a unit where you can connect to your wood stove, that you could actually use that wood stove to pump water out of your well, so you get two things at one, maybe possibly three things. You get your water cleaned out via the heat. It would cook any bacteria that come through there. Plus you'd get it pumped and you'd have hot water, and then you could have a cold storage tank beside that you could pump the water and let it cool down for cold water.
Wow.
You've got to see Shazizz's his videos and the things he works on. Oh my God, he's brilliant.
Yeah, I subscribe to your channel, Shazizz, and I do look at them, and I think, I mean, I've sent you sort of little questions about the lens effect and all that kind of stuff, because there's stuff that's just not taught in schools, and I've learned so much over the last couple of years just watching, videos and listening to people like yourself who are talking about these, whether it be alternative energy production or alternative ways of doing things like using a wood stove to pump water. It's just not. They're just not telling kids this. They're just not passing on this stuff, and obviously we're just being dumbed down, and it just makes me so sad that we're literally just being trained how to do the job that we are supposed to do and no more.
Well, that's why I call my YouTube channel Mad Science, because it really hacks me off. They're not teaching the kids real science anymore. And when you was talking about the lens effect, there's a whole lot of other different things that used in conjunction with that could be beneficial to making things so efficient that they would barely use any energy.
Yeah, and for me, energy is a big thing, because of my power. Everybody's power bills are going through the roof, but it's just becoming unsustainable for me. And there's that word from Agenda 21, unsustainable. Maybe I'm becoming unsustainable.
I will work real hard on this little water pump deal that I'm working on, and try to get a video out within the next few days for you, so that you can see how it is. And it's a simple thing. It doesn't take no valves. It's simple as just a coiled up copper tubing, and when you see how simple it is, you'll be amazed. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that'd be amazing, because it really would have a real life practical help, not just for and it is important that we pass this information on and these technologies on to people in the so-called third world, but they're having first world applications as well, because we are now in a situation where it is a case of heat or eat for me. My house is very old, but it's got a built-in central heating system which is run on oil, and I just can't afford to buy the oil, so I have no central heating and I've got no hot water. So being reliant on a wood burning stove, which is limited in how it heats. I'm looking at ways of connecting that to the central heating system.
Wow.
I'm looking at ways of trying to generate my own electricity. Transfer
you just kicked something.
Electricity. So.
You just kicked something over in my brain when you were talking about the central heating system. The problem the central heating systems have most generally is when the temperature gets down too low, it has to work harder, so it draws more energy. So I believe there's a way that you could take the heating coils in there, run some copper tubing around those heating coils, and then actually heat the water from your wood burning stove while you're burning it, so that your heat pump would very rarely ever come on, only to supplement when it got really cold, but it wouldn't drain as much energy by doing that.
Right.
I'll work
I need
on
to
that
send
as
you
well.
I need to send you some pictures of where things are and the situation, and we maybe need to talk a bit more because whilst I spend a lot of time working on this and researching all the different topics that I talk about on my shows, I also have to think about the practical situation where 6 people and some with disabilities are living in a place without heating, and we're supposed to be a first world country here, and we're supposed to have gone beyond the poverty and the desperation of years gone by, but here we are in a situation where we're sleeping in our clothes, and anyway, it's.
Let me teach you a little trick real quick that you can use today if you have access to a salvage yard or a place where you can get scrap metal.
Mm-hmm.
If you take that same wood burning stove, after you clean all the ashes out, it's got fire bricks in there, right?
Right.
All right, well, if you go out and you get you some like 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch steel plates, they'll be pretty heavy. Just make sure they're big enough that they can fit inside your wood stove. And prop one up at the back, prop one up at the side, and one on the bottom. And then when you put your wood inside there and you heat your wood up, once the fire logs go down to a certain point, even if the fire goes out, those steel plates will hold heat for a while and still push heat out into your room.
Yes.
That's what I do with all of mine.
So little heat batteries then.
Yeah, well, you just all you want is some steel plates, just something, because when steel gets hot, it holds heat for a while, and so you're not losing as much heat because most of your heat's going up the chimney. But if you put those steel plates in there, you'll retain a lot of that heat inside there, and you won't have to worry about burning a hole in the bottom of your fireplace or whatever.
Thank you, Shazizz. I will go look that up.
That's something you can do immediately that will improve the efficiency of your stove.
Mm-hmm.
I do that in all mine. Right. I got them in my fireplace, and I got them in my wood burning metal stove.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. That's what it's all about. And any more ideas I got, I'll put them out there for you. Anything to help you out.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Shazizz. Awesome.
All right, folks. Well, I got to get rolling. I got to get back to some work. I got a lot of projects to go.
I've got to take off too.
Mad science
it's been
never
great
rests.
to have you guys come in and do this. This is awesome.
All right, peace and love, everybody. Take care.
Peace and love. Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you, Shazizz.
You're welcome.
Night, Shazizz.
Good night.
And thank you, Paula, for a wonderful evening with you guys. I really did enjoy it. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I loved having you. And we'll be in touch. You too, Alan.
Thank you very much for allowing me into the call. I shall return to my researching at 05:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. I got to get up with the kids too, so I got to go. So I'll say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.